Welcome, everyone. It's your girl, Zangoma, aka the Dope Healer, Dealing Hope. And um, this journey has been quite interesting to say, at the very least for now. I actually just want us to get straight into the channels that I've been feeling, and like the channels that have just been like just loud in my freaking head for, I'd say, about 13 weeks. How long is that? That's like what, 4 months, give or take 4 or 5 months. And when I think about it, and also because I'm very analytical, and I go do my research, and I find that, whoa, look, I have been under, or not just myself, but I'm speaking purely from my experience because, well, that's all and I think from, I'd say 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months, Uranus firstly was retrograde from then until very recently, which was the 3rd of Feb, which is last week or so. And I actually didn't really think I didn't think too much of it. I actually didn't even think that astrological aspect was actually quite a prominent thing in my whole journey, right? So it was the Uranus transit specifically for me. There actually are a whole bunch of other things going on in my chart. If it sounds like I'm whispering, it probably is just instinctual because it's nighttime. Everybody in my household is asleep, right? Which is why I can actually make this video right now. We make these videos, so it'll probably mostly be like at nighttime, right? And it's boiling hot. It is literally so freaking warm. So many insects have been visiting me. And I say me, yes, I can confidently say me specifically because I'm the one that sees them constantly, But anyway, always signs, always messages. And that's why I'm here. Because look, I don't really claim something that I don't know. I can't claim to be a healer if I have not undergone what healing in my own journey, in my own right. You know, that's that's a value, judgment, that's a belief rather that I have. It's a principle, I guess. I also would say I choose to live my life by, because look, I am all for, being objective, being able to just like sit on the fence and just like look at everything, which is really like, it's a safer space to be in. And that's generally my stance, isn't it? However, I making this video really just as a way to I don't want to say explain, but to just share that, it's not all plants and candles and tarot and crystals and right. It's literally grueling inner work. It's literally looking yourself in the mirror and like kind of being like, is looking back at me right now. I don't really know, but it's like understanding that confusion, darkness, all of that, it's actually just a way for spirit, God to, well, I believe, our angels being like, hi, I actually love you so much. I'm actually trying to show you what the F is not working. But also at the same time, I'm like, yo, universe, you know how I am. You know how it goes. Like, why can't we just, be cordial? Just slip me a letter and tell me what's going on. Just give me the whole agenda, what to expect, blah, blah, blah. So Spirit said, girl, I've been telling you to get quiet. I've been telling you to really sit with yourself and stop running. Stop running. Like, stop running. Like, it's uncomfortable. Yes, but it's because this is no longer fitting. I am, guys, yeah. If you, just a side note, to all my fellow mutable signs. So that's, Gemini, Sag, Virgo, Pisces. Yo, can we can we just like get hugs? Can we just like hug each other and just like take a nap? Because wow, it's been a long ass freaking journey since 2012. I'm really gonna stop cussing, but anyway, since 2012, you know, a very long transits, happening, in the collective and affecting us all. People think like, this is just woo woo, like, okay, well, look, if you think it's woo woo now, you honey, there's even things I'm even just like, oh my God, Spirit, that's a bit cool, but let's go. Because look, this is a time like no other. I honestly believe we're here to ascend. Everybody has their own way, or the soul has chosen its own way to, I'd say, learn its lessons, integrate things, which is why it's so important that we're sharing and not just like sitting in like silos. It's important that we share, but it's also important that I'm getting a lot of channels. I would like to preface this entire video by saying, yes, I know it's a bit all over the place. I honestly tend to struggle with channeling in a structured way. Let me say that. Like, when my channels come, if I don't write them down then and there, or at least have a mental note, whatever, I'm probably gonna forget, and like it'll come out at like a different time. I'll probably be talking to someone else and not even be recording a video, and then but then again, I always believe in divine timing and alignment. So yeah, so just to preface something moving forward, these videos are flexible, they're a bit experimental. I am actually trying to incorporate more of my, I'd say, abilities into my readings now, because it's been an initiation of a lifetime. It's been an initiation of a lifetime, and it's still going. I actually feel like it's only getting started. Like now, like whoa, strapped, I'm buckled up, man. I'm ready to go. Anyway, so this transit that has been affecting mostly the mutable signs, very personally, but everyone in general, because we all have these planets and points in our charts, and they express themselves in different ways. The outer planets, honestly, are here to help us. That's why I firmly believe we're not just here for haha kiki, like, like, yeah, sure, but no. um I I sincerely believe we are here to evolve and transform, which is why you can literally, like, oh, energetic interception. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Thank you, Spirit. Grounding is going to be, is yeah, it's paramount. We all know that. But I am, like, it's actually just going to have to be included into our society, way of being. Like, this is just how it is. We ground now, we have space, work-life balance. We've got all of that as like a society moving forward. I know I sound like a bit like, gosh, you are living on cloud nine. Whatever. We're here to ascend. The outer planets are really powerful. Any transit, from the outer planets affecting our personal planets, or in any other area of our charts, we don't necessarily have to have anything else in these signs, or however, when we undergo transits from the outer planets, oh, candle crackling there, thank you, it's literally confirmation of a journey that is happening. It's a transformation that is slowly, gradually, maybe slowly is the wrong word, but gradually unfolding. Because in the beginning of the transits, or the early stages, things might happen, tower moments, fated events, etc. And we think based off that, then that is what the story is moving forward. However, that's life, honey. That is just the beginning. It's just the beginning, and things are still unfolding, and things are always going to be unfolding. you know I would say, specifically in the next 7 years, because we've got a lot of planets in air signs. Because remember, air is it's airy. It's actually so divine, because that's what I'm saying. Like, even the my chosen way of channeling is not necessarily just writing things down, although air does rule the mind, but that's more structured. And though that kind of energy I dedicate for other things, writing and all that. So for this, that's why I honor it, because I literally feel such a, like, quite literally, me God conference call right now. And shout outs to a really great YouTuber, fellow healer also, Natija Cave, who has really been so instrumental in my journey in the past year, and me just, I guess, coming back to me, because for a while, I will not lie, these transits were having their way with me, and I also needed to go back into my hermit cave, and figure it out and heal. I'm not saying that's what will work or everyone should do that. No, please. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm advocating for a way of honoring who it is, that your soul is, and choosing the things that basically allow you to ascend, and grow. It's very interesting that we're in the year 2026, but like other nations, well, the Western world, but other countries, very sacred places, let me just say Ethiopia, for example, they're in a different year. Do you get what I mean? And it kind of reminds me of the Mayan calendar also, how people thought like, oh, the end of the world, 2012. It really actually was the beginning of the end. Truly. It really 100% was the beginning of the end. And this Neptune transit, the one, that grueling one, that's why I'm saying shout outs to all the mutable signs. Like, when Neptune moved into Pisces in and around 2011, 2012, remember, Neptune is actually ruled by Pisces, or Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Let me say that. Pisces is at home. It's comfortable. It's literally got its legs up on the damn motherfucking couch, drinking or whatever beverage. I was having tea. It's done. But also just quite enticing, so inviting, I really think a lot of people started to believe, social media, illusions, fantasies, really, really, really came about. And it's very interesting also. Neptune went into Pisces. Instagram came out. Neptune and Pisces are literally the same thing. Their vibration is literally the same thing. So healing, artistic, confusion, illusions, artistry, wonder, surrender. And I'm just mentioning few things, and these are the things that literally have been, like, in many areas of our lives, wherever these, planets were transiting. Because remember, every year, and as the year goes on, other planets, points, signs, we move into different signs. The sun moves into a different sign, other planets move into different signs, possibly aspecting, these outer planets or whatever. And all of that also then adds layers to that story, And I sincerely believe, because we are quite literally at the end of Neptune in Pisces, remember, like, it's energy. It's energy. It's energy. I can't necessarily be like, it's here. It's over here. Let's contain it here. No. There's still things that might linger, and even for maybe 2 years, 3 years still. Because remember, these planets move slowly. So that transformation, the peeling back of the layers, of the falsehood, the false narratives, that's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, well, crisis will emerge. Neptune in Aries, you might find yourself really wholeheartedly believing in things that don't serve you. which is why I think at the end of, I would like to call it, or like little revolutions, little revolutions when other planets move into like their signs or into different signs. It's like a mini revolution, and at the end of revolutions, it's very important to, I would say, reflect, because why was there a need for a revolution in the first place, right? So we need to then come back and ponder why it is that we went through that revolution, so that moving forward we know what it was all for, or we know where to go. We've got a compass. um you know with Neptune and Aries, honestly, I'm seeing cult like following. I'm seeing literally like cults. I'm seeing narcissism on steroids. However, I'm also seeing a sense of authority, like really like a sense of divine authority, like the divine I am, like that, yo, like I am, like that divine I am. I honestly feel like on a higher vibration, we can really, really all embody that, and that will be freaking amazing. It's gonna be amazing. It is amazing, as more of us step into our actual personhood, our godhood, you know, because I really believe we're flavors of the divine. Literally, just like keep that somewhere. Flavors of the divine, because yeah, just flavors of the divine. Just keep that. And moving forward, we are then going to see, it's quite literally a new era, baby. It's a new era. You cannot bring the old things here. I'm so sorry. We really can, because we need to now realize that this is a time like many of us have never ever experienced. And I'm only speaking like as a mundane human level. I'm not talking about like, oh, past life, I was here, blah blah blah. No, I'm really just saying, like, as humanity, we're at a critical point, an exciting point. It's still critical though. We can't go back, unfortunately, entirely. Let me say that we can't go back entirely. And do we want to go back to certain things? Sure, maybe, but honestly, the way I'm seeing this energy, it's so fresh, it's so new, because literally the sign that Neptune has now moved in, it literally moved from a water sign. So it's now drying itself. It's literally it's baking. It's about to start baking. Neptune is literally start baking, and I'm really seeing a lot of people like evaluating their, or I'd say being so strong in their bodies, like literally physical bodies, because more and more, people are coming alive, people are waking up, and people are starting to see that, look, quite literally, and not from an say egotistical point of view, but it's, I quite literally am God. Yeah, and so are you. And if you have any objections, okay, I still said what I said though. I got such a weird vibe as I said all of that. But anyway, so we're moving into a new era, guys, and why I'm making this video is because even me, as a facilitator of healing, as a facilitator of an inner journey of inner transformations, that it actually makes sense. It makes all the most sense as to why I was so isolated for the majority, I'd say, of my 20s. And I really believe it's been a need and a way for me to hone in on the divine gifts that I have. And I don't think I'm unique or alone in that journey. I think there's many of us coming alive, waking up right now, and it's demanding even a more divine approach to life in general. Because you see, Aries is also the first sign of the zodiac, and now it moving, or Neptune moving into the sign of Aries, for me is literally quite like what the Bible, all these weird apocalyptic movies that they've been putting in our face, because they, if they tell it, if they express it, and they're not really concealing it, then it doesn't violate universal law, which is why we've got all these weird movies, but then like they hide behind oh, it's just a movie, Neptune. Neptune rules all these things. Neptune quite literally rules music, entertainment, the movies, arts, everything. But I'm specifically talking more so about like movies, because I don't know how I'm going to refer to this, but let's just say we can actually see what's coming, or we can see what's coming if we choose to stay in fear. Okay? Because remember, the media is 100% controlled. It's 100% controlled. So, which is why, you with your phone, with your camera, you best utilize it and realize the power, and to use that responsibly. Neptune in Aries, oh goodness, we are moving into warrior season, warrior mode. More and more, I'm really seeing people like, I know it was probably like Uranus and Taurus that was really getting people to start valuing, or to really be at home and feel safe within their bodies. And one of the ways in doing so is actually to get like physically strong, and we're going to have to be physically strong, because this is what this era demands. We're going to have to be mentally agile, and the emotions are kind of on I don't want to say, but look, we can't separate all these things. We are human, this is our lived experience. We embody all of this energy. However, moving forward, there is really going to be more appreciation and emphasis for the mind, the power of, the mind and our thoughts, and thereby also dictating how how we feel about certain things, our emotions. Yo, give me a card for Neptune in Aries, okay. Right, so I'm seeing passion. Here. Because remember, Aries, first sign of the zodiac, cardinal sign, pioneering energy, wants to go for it, wants to try, wants to explore, wants to create, wants to initiate. And with the energy, from Neptune and Pisces, where we could have seen the dream, really been like obsessed with the dream, maybe even like, lost in the dream. Neptune and Aries is saying, okay, hi. How am I, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to make this work, into something tangible, and remember, Aries also rules the mind. So I'm really, really like saying there's going to be a more appreciation for that. Not to say emotions don't matter, because to the contrary, they do, because it all feeds into each other. However, because thoughts really create your reality, and thoughts can also create feelings, how you feel about things. They can literally dictate how you feel about things. It's going to be important to realize the power of our minds, and realize that, look, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It usually doesn't really have a plan, let me say that, but it's very sacred, it's very divine, it's very instinctual. That's why it may come across as, I don't have a plan. I'm not sitting here pondering all the different, oh, all the different, no, it's quite literally, sorry, a notification popped up on my phone and I read it and I just got kind of sidetracked. So, okay, the conflict of Neptune, and like, just understand that conflict, if you were someone that was not okay with conflict, look, there's going to be other ways to, I guess, be confrontational. And I think it's got a lot to do with identity, because remember, Aries is the first sign. Identity, I'm seeing identity, like, oh goodness Lord, mass identity resets. Let me say that. Mass identity resets. And the resets are probably because of the illusions that were faced when Neptune, or like, as you know, reflected upon the journey that you've gone through since about 2011, 2012, around about. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just then, could, however, it's because of the upgrades that even the earth is undergoing. Guys, the earth is alive. It's not just a fucking rock. It's alive. It's got consciousness. It's got and it also plays a very big role in the grand story. Everything plays a role in the grand story of things. However, because of this mass identity crisis that I foresee, I really believe it's because of like I said, we can't go back. We cannot go back to wasteful ways. We cannot go back to victim mentalities, throughout. Because we are authorities. There's again Neptune, Aries. We are authorities over our lives and the things that we wish to bring to life. The way we even think about the world, the way it's demanding a new vibration, a very solid vibration. And Neptune, it's very interesting, because in the beginning, Neptune is not traveling alone in Aries. Saturn is about to join Neptune. right? In Aries. And Saturn and Aries are like polar opposites. Quite literally, Saturn is debilitated in Aries, in the sign of Aries, because Aries is just like, look, I've got this idea, I'm going for it, goodbye, we're doing it. Yeah. Saturn is like, let's learn how to do this a few times. Why? Let's repeat this. Let's do this. Get really good and clear, refining, getting rid of the nonsense, you know? Saturn ain't got time for bullshit, bruh. Like, father time, oh, mama time, whatever you want to say, but time, time cares for no one. One rich, poor, you know, any kind of social label that you want to think of, you are not exempt. I am not exempt from the grips of time, because time has a grip. And if you, on reality, I mean, and hence why everything is timing, although time is what, an illusion, blah blah blah, because we're all just experiencing this now. Many of us have seen it coming. Many of us, because we've seen it coming, have been actively living in ways that align with that timeline. So you see how it already has been in existence. Neptune in Aries. Again, like I said, if you were not a non-confrontational person, not to say like we're going to be combative for the sake of being combative. We're going to be combative. Really, it can either be defensive. It can really, like, on a defensive level, like, no, this is who I am. These are the things I believe in, and like, you can't tell me anything. Although that's true too, but it's needing to not be emotional about it. Neptune also, can be, yeah, it's neat, but the tendency for that might be challenged, because, like I said, Saturn will be moving in the beginning. Like, quite literally, Saturn is about to enter Aries, yo. Like, also, I think it's what, sometime in Feb, 18th of Feb or so. So when Saturn then joins Neptune, Saturn is like, oh, I see Neptune is here too. However, I'm going to make a warrior out of you. And you don't become a warrior by winning everything. You become a warrior by first learning lessons, or not first, but you really truly, because of the hardship, because of, that's when you really become a warrior. If you're just gonna go out and kill people like a senseless person, like, okay, love and light to that timeline, but it's not really ideal. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. We really need to be mindful, and I say gentle with ourselves. Gentle, but also kind of like, I think now Neptune going into the sign of Aries, and then Saturn also coming in. It's really, like I said, or what I believe is a mass identity crisis, needing to really, really parent ourselves, all of us, every single one of us, because look, everybody has been conditioned some way, somehow, but it's up to you to actively look at certain things and certain patterns and certain things that you do, certain ways that you behave, Introspection is a superpower because it's going to help you make really informed and powerful moves. Because, like I said, Saturn is debilitated in the sign of Aries. Saturn actually prefers to be in the sign of Libra. Contemplation, careful, cautious action, considering certain, elements. Because Saturn is like, I am not here to really make you suffer. I'm just here to show you what it is that you're made of, to strip away, the illusions. I would say that, or not illusions, but like to strip away the excess. I'm actually seeing it as like inflammation, bruh. I don't even know why, but like inflammation that might be a thing. Gosh, I hope there's not another freaking like a pandemic. But strap in. Strap in, because this is a very critical but beautiful time. And possibilities. If you ever felt like, oh man, I wish, when is my life gonna change? But now, because Saturn in Aries is literally a disciplined, like, major or whatever. I don't know the rankings in the army or whatever. But Saturn in Aries is here to make us, literally, we're going to be like soldiers. We're going to be soldiers of ourselves, soldiers and sergeants of ourselves. There's going to be that soldier sergeant thing in our minds, in our ways of being, because I really think moving away from a sense of victimhood, feeling helpless, which what Neptune in Pisces can literally just feel like, because you're surrendering to the divine. But now, as Neptune also moves into Aries and Saturn moves into Aries, it's really about reclaiming your sense of authority, your sense of power over who it is that you truly are. Yeah, I actually wrote some things down, but I believe I covered them all. I don't even have that paper here of the channels I was getting, I think Sunday, a few days ago, about Neptune moving into Aries, because I could literally feel it. Like, I really feel so strong in my body, especially because I feel restless if I'm just sitting down for too long. No, it's not toxic productivity. Nah, none of that over here, bruh. None of that over here. At least not anymore. Or yeah. So really, this is a powerful time, like I said, to change your life in a way that is or the way you see fit. If you believe like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I gotta do, blah 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 blah, and then do it, for the highest good, because quite literally we're gonna need everybody to show up. Everybody's got something to contribute. I don't care who you are, you have something to contribute, and the only way you're going to find that is through disciplined reflection, disciplined action, disciplined reflection and action. Because we can't just do things. Oh, my battery's gonna die. Can't just do this, otherwise, again, see, you'll get drained. And remember, because Aries is also such a fiery sign, it's cardinal, it's quick, bursts of energy, and Saturn is saying, hi, we're trying to build something long lasting here. So if you're just always just gonna come with your little quick bursts, you are going to run out of steam. We need longevity here. We need stamina. And the only way for you to do that, or my advice to Aries to, cultivate that stamina is honestly by doing what the next sign, looking at the next sign and the previous sign, because you're in the middle now, looking at Taurus, looking at Pisces. Like, okay, look, I can't just do things, but I can't also just feel sorry for myself and chill. Sorry, I'm not just giving such a horrible, stereotypical view of Pisces. It's not, look, all signs are divine, we're all divine. So, but it's realizing that, look, we were in that point of surrender, the void. Now, this is new ground, literally full card. I'm literally seeing the full card in my mind's eye. Because it's new beginnings. However, we're going to have to pace ourselves. We're going to have to pace ourselves in order to create the abundance that Neptune and Aries can actually create, because of just how fresh and new everything is. It will be that's what I'm saying. If you really want to feel like, oh man, been wanting to change my life, really, this is your time, baby. This is your time. And you really need to strip away the illusion, strip away, again, Neptune and Pisces was also like drugs, escapism, and escapism is not just drugs. It's like literally social media. It's doom scrolling. It's just senseless, not really paying attention. I'm just here. I'm just floating. And the floating is also important because you can receive. Oh, my nose is getting crazy. But yeah, the channels are done. So yeah, this is, look, we're all here, bruh. We're all here. Things are changing, and for the better, that's up to them, us. That's up to them, us individually. Either get strong. I'm actually seeing, look, on a very weird vibration, but I can see bully, that's why I'm seeing this cult energy, because some people will still be lost in that Neptune and Pisces energy, moving into Neptune and Aries, because it's like, look, if you are not gonna steer your ship, which is yourself, how are you gonna relate to any other person, place, or thing in a way that truly reflects your divinity, that is in alignment with your divinity? How? Right? So venturing into new waters, or let me just say fire, new ground, it's exciting, but it can be overwhelming. It can cause anxiety. So I'm also seeing a rise in people having major headaches. That's what I'm saying is, guys, learn to see that things happen in, I want to say, random patterns. But things, yeah, random patterns, but things do happen for a reason. I'm going to wrap this up. And Neptune, Saturn, and Aries, frustration. I'm really seeing that frustration. That's why I'm seeing the headaches, the migraines. Oh, people are gonna, if they've already been, so hyped up on Lion's Mane, but I think more and more we're really going to, then Uranus is also going to move into Gemini, another mental energy, so heavy, but we'll be getting a nice sextile from Uranus when Uranus also enters Gemini. So about June, so March, April. It's going to be an interesting ride. Um, it's going to be interesting, and interesting again. Like I said, you can decide how that feels for you, But excuse me, interesting nonetheless. I'm gonna wrap this up, but let me pull an oracle card. Please do expect an article soon. Flavors of God, like I said. So yeah, interesting. We just had that new moon. Aquarius. Interesting. We've been told to step out of our comfort zones because remember, we've been guess Neptune has made us very comfortable in certain ways of being, certain habits, certain patterns. But now, honey, you need to release in order for you to gain. That's just the way it is. Can I get one more oracle card for the collective? As things that they should know, or we should know. For Neptune moving into the sign of Aries, Saturn and Aries. Alright, we got quite a few cards there, but I guess it's 2 different planets. Bitch. Like I said, you see, it says here, time to give rather than take. And what did I say? We're releasing. Release. 1, 2, 3. No, but yeah, all respect. That's actually such a beautiful song. But release them. It's time to give rather than take. Prosperity lies ahead. Because remember I said Neptune moving into Aries. It's going to be really awesome. And, well, the potential to make money, I should say, is going to be awesome because there's going to be so many new things, but also it can be quite, it can cause some anxiety because you see, we're being told to expect powerful change. It can cause some anxiety because it's like, wow, with all these new ways of making money, or it's like maybe even feeling slightly distrusting of these things. Maybe people taking advantage of that, and humans. However, I'm really believing and seeing that goodness can come out of this because we can create quite literally what we want because we are moving into, I'd say, uncharted waters and territory. Let's just say territory and waters because we're in Neptune. I mean, we're in Pisces and now we are in Aries, so we territory, honey. Territory over your mind, territory over your beingness, over this is who you are, and this is how you're gonna move in the world. This is how you contribute, because like I said, everybody's got something to contribute one way or another for better or worse. Let me just say it like that. And where you find yourself in this transit is going to be dependent on and quite reflective of just how much you've either done the internal work and because Neptune was in Pisces, and really just dissolving those illusions of self, of life, of everything. So it's like, this is what matters now, My fixed signs. Oh, I'm sending all love energy. I'm really sending it because wherever you have not even just like people who are specifically sun sign, fixed sign energy. This applies to us all. We all have fixed sign energy somewhere in that plays out in an area of our lives. So those areas might be, or not even might, probably I am feeling they will be challenged because we're being asked to initiate in other places also in our lives. But also, look, fixed sign energy, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ain't nothing to fix. But I think it's the power of just having such a solid belief, solid strength, that it's like there's actually no need to change this because it's working. Where it's not working, however, it will be very loud and clear. It will be very loud and clear. Okay. And like I said, this is new territory. We're going to have compassion for ourselves, and we're going to have to be very cautious because there are lots of, again, people, like I said, I'm seeing cults. Please be careful. Please be careful. Don't be swayed. Don't be swayed. At the end of the day, sit with yourself, sit with God, and you will find your answers. Look, we're human, we're here, having a human experience. I'm not saying, sobriety. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just really sharing from a personal perspective because I've had my own, tusslings. Shit, I'm human too. I've had my own tusslings, with, I guess, illusions and escapism, and really just being afraid to do I'd say, make the necessary changes because, well, changes can be quite frightening. Even if things weren't serving you, you got attached to that story because now if things are changing and it's like you're no longer struggling, for example, like you're no longer confused, you're no longer depressed, it's okay. You're no longer living from a lack mindset. You moving through the world with the confidence, with the assurity that all shall be provided. Do your part, all shall be provided. Like, guys, this is a beautiful time. It's still such a new time. Excuse me. I'm really wrapping this up now. If you've watched really till the end, thank you. And I will be sharing more. And I'll be using different mediums, not just this form anymore, video, because this is really where this is really where I channel without any restriction, without any mental analysis. It just flows. So we're here, we agreed, we can do it, and we can do it. We have the tools, we can create the tools also to bring about the realities that we all want, or the realities that we want, for the highest good. I always encourage people to do things for the highest good, because we can all just do shit, but for the highest good. That's the better vibration, that's the better timeline. Yeah. Okay. Need to express Anyway, I'm really going now.